Come with us to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We'll go to the Great Smoky Mountain National Park and take you to one of the best hikes around. And then downtown Gatlinburg to a little village full of shops that has an amazing Harry Potter vibe. We'll also take you to a place where you can play in the river and then go to the best breakfast restaurant in all of Gatlinburg. Next, we'll go to an amazing putt course with outrageous views, and you might even see bears up there. Then up to 6,000 feet elevation to Anakeesta, the best mountaintop theme park in all of Gatlinburg. There's an amazing roller coaster, some fun treetop activities, and lots more. Things for kids and adults alike. Come along.
Welcome to VO's Travel. Where to go and what to see. With kids.
Gatlinburg is located on the far eastern side of Tennessee at the beginning of the Smoky Mountains. The first thing you should do in Gatlinburg, especially if you're coming in from the north heading south, is stop at 1011 Banner Road. That'll take you to the Gatlinburg Welcome Center, and it's an amazing place to stop and get information for all kinds of things to do while you're there. Inside, there's a really cool interactive map, and there's all kinds of souvenirs, and it's also where you'll find your stamp for your national passport book if you do that like our family does. If you're not aware what that is, I'll link a video here telling you all about it. But this center will give you maps, tell you about different hikes, give you all kinds of souvenirs. There's even a little spot in the back corner that has all handmade items from Gatlinburg artists. As you are leaving the Welcome Center, you'll be heading south on a street called Parkway. A couple things to look for. One of them is this amazing national park sign. There's a little pull-off where you can park. I highly encourage you to take a picture in front of it. And then also on your left-hand side as you're heading south, there will be a lot of pullouts like this. Maybe 5 to 7 of them, and they're great spots to park, pull over, climb down to the river, and let your kids and your husband, for all that matters, play in the river. There's rocks to jump around on. If it's warm enough, the water will be nice and cool on your skin. It's just a really fun place to check out. And of course, in the fall, the foliage is just beautiful there. After playing around in the river, we headed up to the national park. Our hike that we recommend is the Laurel Falls Trail. Thanks to my sister-in-law for that. There is no exact address. You'll just put Laurel Falls Trailhead in your GPS and it will take you right to the parking lot. A few things to note. The trail is paved, but it has definitely seen better days. So there are some parts missing. There are some unstable areas, pieces broken off of the trail. So just be careful. And also there are a couple spots where there is a drop off. So if you do take little kids on this trail, make sure you're holding their hands and keeping an eye on them at all times. But it is an amazing trail with beautiful views. The hike is 2.4 miles out and back, and it takes a little over an hour depending on how long you stay and play around at the falls. So now we are going to head downtown Gatlinburg. There are 3 streets that kind of all combine into one little area where all of the stuff is. That street that is outlined in red there, and yes, that is traffic, and that's fairly normal, especially in the fall when it's beautiful like this, is called Parkway. The street to the east is East Parkway, and the street right there is actually called Parkway again. So I guess that's just one street that goes through it with East Parkway going off to one side. The first thing I suggest doing is going to the village when you're downtown Gatlinburg. It is an adorable little village of 27 shops that totally has a European and Harry Potter vibe. It was so cute. One of the best places to stop there, though, is the Donut Frier. There was a line out the door and around the corner for those donuts. When you get out and about to Parkway, there's all kinds of things to do. And if you're lucky enough to have grandparents with you, send the kids with them and go to Ole Smoky for a bourbon and moonshine tasting. My husband, brother-in-law, sister, and niece had a blast. I think the root beer bourbon was their favorite. Besides the bourbon and moonshine tasting, there are so many other things to do. You could stay here a week or two and still not have time for everything. There are so many cute shops, so many restaurants, so many places to sit for photo ops, especially in the fall, mind you. Candy shops galore. Our kids loved that part. Of course, when they were on their walk with Grandma and Grandpa, they got filled up with candy. The corn dogs were a blast. These shops, let me tell you, it is just such a quaint and cute little area. You will fall in love. There were mirror mazes like you'll see here. There were a couple putt-putt stops. And there are plenty of places to stop for great photo ops, like this mural here. If you're into museums, there are all kinds of museums to stop in and check out, and Ripley's was a big brand name of those. There was a Ripley's, believe it or not. There was a Ripley's Moving Theater. There's a Ripley's Fun Zone. I can't remember all of the different places that you can stop and check out, but there were a ton to choose from. Like I said earlier, there's so much to do, but one of our most favorite places on this trip is Hillbilly Golf, and you need to check it out too. You take a tram up a hill, and then you start putt-putting and work your way down. Now, there are steps, but it's not too bad, and the walkways are pretty smooth if anybody has any mobility issues. As long as they can do steps, they'll do fine. It took us maybe 10 or 15 minutes to wait in line, and then about a half hour to 45 minutes to complete the course, and it was so much fun. Prices are $13.50 for adults and $9.50 for kids, and a discounted price of $11.50 for senior citizens, military, and a couple other types of people. There are 2 different golf courses to choose from, and when we were at the top, we chose the one to the left. If you do want to go back and play the second course, you have 3 days, and it's only $5.99 to do that. Something else that I highly suggest is getting an old time photo, and we fell in love with Somewhere in Time. It was the cutest little shop, and the owner was amazing. For one person, it's $12.95, and for a party of 5, it was $34.95. There were 3 backgrounds. There was that old fancy living room. There was a bar scene in our favorite and old distillery hillbilly theme, which we chose, and it was amazing. Shirts off, overalls, it was great. My daughter had to do the fancy one, of course. Another place we recommend, and the best place to stop for breakfast, is Crockett's Breakfast Camp. It was amazing. One thing to note, go to their website before you end up there and get on their wait list. We went on a Monday morning, and by 8 a.m. the wait was already 45 minutes. So on your way there, just join the wait list, and hopefully you won't have as long to wait. One thing to note, when you get there, even though you have already joined the wait list, you have to check in with the hostess station or they will not call your name. Kids' meals were $6.99 and adult meals were anywhere between $10 to maybe $16 or $17 and worth every penny. Just check out this food.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. I probably
Let me see your pancakes.
Those pancakes were 1.5 inches tall, and they were the most delicious pancakes we have ever had, and my husband's meal was served on a 16-inch cast iron skillet. Last but not least, there are 3 theme parks up in the mountains above Gatlinburg. One of them is Gatlinburg Skylift, there's Ober Gatlinburg, and then our favorite, Anakeesta. Let me explain all 3, and then I'll tell you why we love Anakeesta. First is Skylift Park. They have an amazing pedestrian bridge. It's the longest pedestrian cable bridge in North America, and it does have a glass bottom in the middle. It's beautiful, but besides the Sky Bridge, there's a few shops and a couple restaurants, but that's it up there. It is beautiful, however. It does cost $37 to get up there, and the only way to get up there is on the Skylift. So if you are afraid of heights, this might not be the park for you. Another thing to note is there are 60 stairs that you need to climb once you get off the Skylift to get over to the attractions. Second is Ober Gatlinburg. I have heard that it has seen better days, but there is a ton to do up there. They have a tramway, they have ice skating, bumper cars, a mountain coaster, chairlift, alpine slide, wildlife encounter, and the list goes on and on. It does cost $22 to take the tram up to the top, and then each activity does cost extra, so it can be very expensive. You can buy a bracelet that does include all of those activities for $39.95, but like I said earlier, you also have to pay the $22 to get up. If you are afraid of heights, though, the tram is a good option because it is enclosed. You also can pay $15 and drive up as well. And this is the place to go for all winter activities, including skiing and tubing. And now, our favorite, Anakeesta. I'll start with all the boring stuff and then get into the fun stuff. It's $35 to get up, and kids are $23. There is kind of a long line, but one good thing, you can call their number and they will tell you how long the line lasts. And there are different lines for each of these ways to get up. You can go in these enclosed gondolas, or you can take a drive up, and then they do have a ski lift. All cost the same, but the gondolas seem to have a little longer wait. The first thing you see when you get up there is one huge fire pit. They have them all over the place, and they are so cozy, and a lot of them have beautiful views too. There are a couple restaurants with amazing views as well, and the only 2 things up there that are not included in the initial price are zip lining and the rail runner, which is a mountain coaster. It's $14.99 to go by yourself, and if you have a little one on your lap, it's $18.99 for the both of you. My kids had a blast, and I highly recommend this mountain coaster. Like I said earlier, there are a ton of other things included when you get up there, like these funky things to climb through. There's also fun little places to sit and relax. There's snack shops. There's this really cool tower that you can climb up that gives beautiful views. I mean, the view up there by itself is amazing, but when you get to the top of that, the view is spectacular. They had amazing tree houses that had these funky little ropes courses that went from tree house to tree house. This was kind of a smaller section of the park, and my kids played on it for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, but even us adults liked it. They also had all kinds of funky little fun places to take pictures, like this guy up here. He was my favorite. Like I said earlier, we were there in fall, and they had all kinds of decorations out that made it just absolutely beautiful to be up there. It was so much fun, and I highly recommend going up to Anakeesta. These breathtaking views were just spectacular, and we could have stayed up there for hours. They had this amazing treetop skywalk. It did end at the back of the park and took you all the way up to the front, so make sure that you do that last. It takes about 15 minutes to climb all of the tree bridges. But once you are there, and you are there at night or sunset, all the lights come out, and it is even more beautiful and spectacular. I don't have pictures of them, but they had chairs sitting along the edges just viewing the mountains that you could sit there for hours and just check out your surroundings. And like I said, even at night, it was just so much more pretty. And the ride down after sunset, it was cold when we were there, but I highly recommend it. Besides ziplining, the mountain coaster, all of the climbing activities, the snacks, the restaurants, the beautiful views, there are also souvenir shops, maybe 3 or 4 of them. But man, check out that view. Thanks for coming along with us to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We had such a blast. We were only there for 3 days, but we can't wait to go back and spend a lot more time there. We would easily spend a week there next time when we plan this trip. And as always, I hope that you remember to choose joy and take all of the pictures.